This is the Gothic reading list to end all Gothic reading lists, Victorian edition. It starts with Edgar Allan Poe in the 1830s. Poe's version of Gothic is a lot more psychological and interior than the Gothic that had been popular in the 18th century, which was a lot about castles and dungeons and melodrama. You just want to read one thing by Poe, it's got to be The Raven or The Fall of the House of Usher. There is nothing more Gothic than the prospect of reading Dickens' Bleak House. It was the first book I studied at university. I'm fond of it, but my god, it's a little bit of a slog. The reason for that is because Dickens makes the Gothic into a kind of socialist realist fiction. It's about the entropy of the legal system and the institutions of London, but it does have some amazing Gothic set pieces. Guys, you already know this one. It's Jane Eyre, mad woman in the attic, moody, brooding male love interest. It's all Bronte all over. Can't get enough of the Brontes. Why not read Wuthering Heights? This is actually better than Jane Eyre in my opinion. More passionate, darker, and a little bit more wild. Emerald Fennell is adapting this into an extremely sexed up movie, and I am waiting with trepidation to see what that's like. Wilkie Collins' Woman in White signifies a kind of offshoot of the Gothic genre into mystery and crime fiction. Sensationalist, melodramatic fiction, and that means it makes you want to keep reading. Everyone on TikTok loves Carmilla. Early, sapphic, vampires, really short. What's not to like? It's not the first vampire novel, but it is the most sapphic one at this time. Is The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde a Gothic novel? Yes, it is. It's a Faustian narrative. Faustian narratives are where characters either bargain for extra life, they sell their soul, or they're searching for forbidden knowledge. Think Frankenstein. And a bit like Wilkie Collins and Charles Dickens, this is one of those 19th century Gothic novels where the Gothic setting has been transposed from the kind of castle and dungeon into the metropolitan city. A modern example of that? Batman, Gotham. Talking of Faustian narratives, what about The Picture of Dorian Gray? Decadent, aesthetic, homoerotic, beautifully written. I love this one. And we have another female Gothic author, Vernon Lee. A collection of short stories are this kind of aestheticist exploration of the Gothic through the medium of art and literature. Getting on right towards the end of the 19th century now, and we've got Richard Marsh's The Beetle. This was released in the same year as Dracula, 1897, and in fact at the time it was more popular. It's all about an ancient cursed Egyptian scarab beetle. Think like Moon Knight, Mummy Returns. That trope, it comes from The Beetle. Slightly Orientalist, and it reflects British anxieties about imperial invasion. How ironic. Dracula. Without Dracula, we wouldn't have Twilight, I'm sure of it. This is in fact the novel that Nosferatu is based on, and you can tell because the front cover is actually shot from the original Nosferatu. Finally, we come to 1898, the end of the 19th century, the 20th century is fast approaching, and we get my favourite Gothic novel of the period. Really a novel, it's actually a novella. It's by Henry James and it's called The Turn of the Screw. We only see the story from the perspective of the narrator, and we can't tell whether or not she's telling the truth or going completely batty. This text is ripe for Freud interpretation. The uncanny, the subconscious, repression. Love it. I may have missed out your favourite obscure 19th century Gothic novel. I can't get into Southern Gothic or Mexican Gothic, but maybe I will in a later video. Let me know what you want to see.